So I was thinking about it. I had Prime for the size comparisons with Megatron, so I thought, why the heck not? Let's just keep rolling with it. So let's finish out the timelines figures, or, well, finish out the ones that I have that I'm going to be showing off because I'm not doing Bumblebee. Sorry for anyone who wants to see Bumblebee. But let's finish this off with the best one, Optimus Prime, because of course Optimus Prime gets the best one. He always gets the best one. But this is very, very cool. It's an extremely clean design. Yeah, he's got like these kind of bulky forearms, but really aside from that, I don't really think there's much in the way of kibble on him. He's got the unfortunate thing of the parts forming roof for the shield for the train mode, and I don't think you can really store this back here. I think I remember like somebody on TFW finding a way to do it, but I don't recall, and that kind of stinks. But he's got his shield, he's got his gun that is made of smokestack, very obviously made of smokestack, and he just looks cool. This is a very cool looking Prime made out of train, and it's very Prime colors as well. The red, the blue, a little bit of gray. This time some black and gunmetal in there and some gold. But I think it works with the whole, Hearts of Steel theming. And it is pretty darn neat. I like the way the shoulders kind of flare out at an angle. That's cool. And it's just a neat design. It's very overall clean, pretty nicely posable, which we'll get to in a little bit. And it's, I don't know, I like it. It's cool. The thing that does kind of bum me out and weird me out about this design, though, is some of the parts, they seemed weirdly designed in the, like, in terms of like where they go in the mold, so they had to be painted, which is just kind of odd. Like the forearms here are red plastic, but that means they had to paint the fists, and the fists are painted in this metallic blue, which is not the same tone of blue, let alone shade, because also it's metallic. Then like it doesn't really match with any of the other blue on this Prime. So that's a weird choice. But then this entire panel here is blue plastic, which you can see on the inside here. So because that's blue plastic, they had to paint the whole thing red. And I mean, the red paint matches reasonably well. It stands out more here, but like it matches okay. It's more the glossiness versus the less glossy finish of the plastic that makes it stand out. But it's just very with the with this. I don't dislike it. It's just weird to me. I feel like maybe it would have made more sense to mold this in red and mold this in blue and then just paint this red rather than painting this red. But then again, this would probably run into problems with like the transformation, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know is it's a slightly strange thing. None of the other bits on this guy seem to do that, though, so there is that. I think, like, this is another thing that's kind of weird to me. There's a hinge here, which makes it look like this is supposed to pop open, but it doesn't. And hang on a sec. Yeah, no, can confirm that is not a thing that hinges down. It's weird that that pin is going through there. I guess it's just to hold the torso together. I don't know. But anyway, cool design. I really like the gold going on in the chest. All the rivets, the very clear front of a train here, not just the grating on the hip skirts, but what's going on up here. It's cool. The head is identifiably Optimus Prime, but this one is more steampunky. It's got that knight-like visor at the top, the smokestack style ear antenna, but then the rest of the shape is very identifiable. I also like that they added just a little bit extra greebling to some of the rest of the head sculpt, like with the little venting, almost venting detail on the sides of the cheek plate cover thing there, and like the faceplate has some rivets and some very tiny molded lines in there. I think that's cool. And of course the light blue eyes, they They are a little close in tone to the blue plastic, but like that's an Optimus Prime thing. It's not a this toy did it wrong thing. So yeah, it is a cool head. It is a cool robot, and it is pretty posable. The head is on a ball joint that looks up and down really pretty nicely and goes side to side really well. Even better than Megatron, goes all the way around as you'd expect. The arms can go all the way around. They can go in and out to about that far, which is not quite 90, but I feel like that's okay for how this is all shaped, and also because of the angle of the shoulders here, it makes it look like it's going further out than it would be if this was straight down. You also can bring the arm straight down, so at least there's that. And then you get the bicep rotation. There is a bend at the elbow. I should use the one that's not holding, not having a shield in the way. The elbow bends to past 90. And for the transformation, it actually has to bend a pretty decent amount, so that's cool. You get a waist rotation that is a little bit hampered by this thing back here, but I feel like really, who's going to be doing poses like that? Like, you don't need a waist to go 360. I feel like that's a silly thing to be upset about. If not that people are upset about it, I'm just saying, like, if anyone is, it's a little bit like, the hip skirt things are on ball joints, but they are kind of weird. They don't really go in or out that much. It's mostly for swinging off to the side. The hips can go forward about that far, back about that far before they knock into this. If you get it kind of off to the side, then it goes back a little bit further. And this just, you're not really getting a ton of forward, and also that blue bit there is going to stop the hip from moving forward, even if the hip skirt weren't there. So yeah, forward, backwards, a little bit hindered. Outward is pretty darn good. It can go past 90. You get a thigh swivel. The knees can bend to a little bit past 90. If you disconnect the transformation joint, you can get a little bit further. So some nice deep knee bend there. And you can also angle forward just a little bit, which I think helps with the dynamic posing. There, so you can actually see it. The feet can tilt a little bit. It's pretty much just like Megatron. You get just a tiny little bit of tilt. But these feet can go forward and back a reasonable amount, so that's actually pretty cool. You can get pretty expressive with that. I like that you can do the angle the knees forward slightly, angle the ankles forward slightly, and then not do the power stance, but you can have him like doing that slightly heroic jutting forward pose. And well, from this angle it looks silly, but from an angle like this I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, this is a neat Optimus Prime figure. He is, as we saw before, slightly shorter than Megatron, but that's okay. I feel like that's normal for an Optimus Prime and Megatron. He is noticeably shorter, but not that much shorter, like most of a head shorter than Legacy Quake, but Legacy Quake is also a tall deluxe, so I'm not really bothered by that. And once again, I will remind you all, Legacy Quake is peak. Now, to transform this guy, this is an interesting transformation. It's a little more complex than you might think. You're going to take the shield and gun out of his hands or off his arms. The gun transforms slightly. You want to pop this open, flip the barrel in, flip back closed, and that gives you that. And these will just go off to the side for now. The body, let's do the upper body first. So we're going to untab the shoulders from here, bring this back. This helps to like lock the torso together. Rotate the arms up, and then the forearms will rotate and kind of tuck in like this. And from this angle, you want to line up all the smooth train bits and do that. Now, I really need to tighten this forward-backward motion on these legs. Now, with this stuff out of the way, because this actually tabs over part of the torso, this allows you to pop this entire thing out, and it will hinge down on this rather snug hinge down here. The plank that the head sits on will hinge up as well. It'll continue hinging in a minute, but we want to do that. This piece will go back. This will go back the rest of the way. And then this will tuck in and around, and we want to get these out of the way too. This gray piece will flip around. So you're basically inverting everything here, which is kind of wild. And then this comes forward, and then this will tab into the inside of the chest. And now these come in, and there are a couple of places where this needs to tab in. There's slots on the upper part here that go over this chunky tab on the inside of this panel here, and then there's little slots here that go over these little tabs on the back of the butt. So you just want to get all that lined up and in, and you can also tab the arms together, and then with these all tabbed in back here and the arms tabbed together, then you just kind of want to grab all of this and hold it firm and then push down here to really snugly tab all this in together. And that is a nice and snug cylinder of an upper body now. The hip skirts come up, and these little tabs here will settle into this opening just below the gold piece. And that reshapes how these pieces sit to make it look a little bit more like the cowcatcher, or whatever its name might actually be, on the front of the train. And then the rest is legs, and legs are surprisingly nuanced. So you want to take this red panel here and pop that out and swing it out like this. You also want to kind of move the feet out of the way if you can. Swing this out, and then this piece here will flip up. And I'm holding it here because this is really snug, and this is just clipped on, so I just don't want to pop this off. But this will sit like this, 90 degrees from the blue piece, and the foot will rotate all the way back in, like so. And then the leg, you want to rotate this transformation joint here and pop that in, and then rotate the hip thigh section forward to accordion it all in, kind of Combiner Wars style. And then this tab on the back of the thigh will go into a slot under here, and this tab here will go into this little slot just behind what is now, or where the knee is now sitting. So you kind of want to come in like this, and what I find works best for me is to rotate this piece just a little bit, because the tab is on this piece is separate, so it can kind of bring this in so that the tab goes in there, rotate this, and that makes it easier to get that tab in the on the forearm into place. And that gives us the side of the train, and the other thing is the same. So bring that out, fold the foot in, accordion all of this in, and then bring this up, rotate this just a little bit, tab that in, and then the legs can tab together, this panel here can tab together, and that gives us most of our train. But as you can see, it is not entirely complete. You want to bring in the shield, and you want to line it up so that this gap is going over this spot here, and this little line here will go over this piece here. And it's not hard to line up, it's just you want to make sure you get it right. And that will peg in and settles in pretty darn nicely. And you've got the Autobot logo facing the correct way, and then the smokestack. There are these little tabs on the underside or backside or whatever you want to call it, and those tab in right in here. And that gives us our adorable little Optimus Prime choo-choo train thing, whatever. And yeah, this is imperfect, as are all of the alt modes in Timelines, but I think this is cute. My issues with it are pretty much the same as everyone else's. These hinges are a bit of an eyesore, but I get why they're there. Maybe it would have been better if they were made out of a different color, but maybe there's a reason they couldn't do that. Like maybe it has something to do with the legs. I don't know. But if that was red, I feel like it would blend in better. Or if they'd like painted it gold, but like it's a transformation hinge. I don't expect them to paint a transformation hinge. So yeah, those stand out a bit. The way this narrows down here kind of ruins the look of the train a bit, but it makes the robot look cool. So I'm more in favor of this than not doing it. But like if something could have filled this out, it would have been nice. And also you've got the emptiness down here with like the exposed thighs and all that. I feel like if there's something that could just fill this in a little bit more, that would help to make this train look more or less the best it could be. But it's also a roughly deluxe sized and budgeted, maybe at least sized figure, so I get the concessions being made here. And yeah, this is a cool little train, rolls shockingly well, actually. Wow. And I like this a lot. Again, it's a little unsightly with the hinges and stuff, but still cool. The thing that kind of bums me out about this more than anything, though, is that they kind of front-load it with all of the detailing and paint, where you've got this really nice gold and silver with the mixture of like some gunmetal, some black, and like the red and the blues and stuff. But like it's all just right here and just a little bit on these smokestacks here, and the rest of it is just red and blue, just big blocks of red and blue. Granted, this is painted, so it's not like it's not painted back here. It just kind of stinks that all of the interesting visual detail in the vehicle mode is right up here, and then back here it just gets kind of boring. But repro labels, right? But yeah, this is a cute little figure and just a fun little Prime. I actually really like that transformation. It's weird, but interesting and fun to do. Now, size-wise, he is actually kind of tiny. He's a little bit bigger than a standard-ish modern deluxe, as you can see with gears here. But yeah, he's bigger. And what the heck, we looked at him before, so we'll do it again. Here he is with Timeline's Megatron. And this just makes Megatron as a cannon look gigantic. And that does it for Timeline's Optimus Prime. Like I said, this is a very fun figure. I like transforming him. I really like how weird the torso transformation is. I don't really know how to explain it. I feel like it should be kind of obvious to see the appeal, but I don't know. I like how everything just kind of twists around and almost inverts and turns inside out, you know? Something about that is really interesting, and it's clever. It's the kind of transformation that I don't feel like we really see at all, really, in official stuff. If we do, not that often, definitely. But this is a super cool figure. Very nicely posable, barring a couple of very minor exceptions, and this is one particular thing that's a little bit nuanced when going back into robot mode. Is as snug as this is, it's very snug, so you kind of just have to pull this apart. I mean, thankfully it does just slide out, but it's still a bit like, And I guess if you wanted to, you could just have this happening. But anyway, you want to rotate that up. And yeah, this is a very neat and strange, but again, neat figure. And I really like this transformation and how it inverts the entire upper body. And it's such a cool design for Optimus Prime. I almost, a couple of times actually, almost got the Night Morpher. Oh, what was it? What was he called? The Nemesis Prime version of the Mastermind Creations Night Morpher Commander. I almost got that figure a couple of times. Never did. Definitely should have gotten him when he was on sale on Big Bad Toy Store like several years ago, but oh well. Maybe one day. Or maybe, not likely, but maybe Hasbro or Takara will do a black repaint of this guy, because I would absolutely buy it. This is a great figure. And as always with me, if they give a Nemesis Prime version of an Optimus Prime, I'm probably going to get that and get rid of the Prime. But this is very cool. So, yeah, it's a shame he comes with... Well, not a shame. Like, Starscream isn't bad. It's, as I said in the last the video with Starscream, he's not bad. It's just... It kind of pales in comparison to the best figure of the Timeline's duology, quadrilogy. I don't know what you want to call it because it's 4 figures, but it's 2 2-packs. So yeah, I don't know how you want to break that down, but he's the best one. I don't feel like that's controversial to say. Whether or not he's anyone's favorite is another matter entirely, but I do feel like ultimately he is the best one, and he seems like the one that probably got the most time. I don't want to say love, because I feel like love went into all of these figures, even Bumblebee, despite his shortcomings. But I definitely think that this is where the focus was, because, I mean, look at this. This looks incredible, and it is really, really good. It's just a really great all-around figure. But anyway, that is going to do it. I am done talking about Timeline's Optimus Prime. Thank you all for watching. As always, feel free to let me know what you think down below. This is... Wow. Wow, I'm bad at doing these off-the-cuff outros. But thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in whatever the next video ends up being about.